Have you ever wondered what Princess Catherine's day really looks like? Forget tiaras and photo ops. Her royal power shows up in the rhythm. Family mornings, fitness squeezed in, briefing packs, mission meetings, and a carefully paced return after cancer treatment. Let's have a look. Morning. The crown meets the school run. Most days begin with the same priority, the children. Not a balcony moment, not a state occasion, just the quiet, practical rhythm of getting 3 kids into a normal school day. In 2022, the Prince and Princess of Wales shifted their base to Windsor, and their office confirmed that Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis would attend Lambrook School near Windsor. Right away, you could see what that decision was really doing. That's not just acute parenting, that's modern royal positioning. Because when the Princess of Wales builds her day around a school routine, she's sending a message without saying a word. Stability is the brand, and family life is part of the public trust. And once that trust locks in, everything else she does, every visit, every meeting, every campaign, lands with more weight because it's grounded in something people recognize as real. Before school fitness, power is not leisure. Then there's the part of her day that surprises people most. Not a private trainer, not some secret royal gym. The Princess of Wales has literally described her exercise as running around after the children. And when she's asked if she gets to the gym, she said she fits it in whenever she can, even jumping on the trampoline with her children before school. That one detail matters because it flips the whole idea of royal life. It's not luxury first, it's time first. Because if you can stay disciplined in the tiny gaps, the messy, loud, everyday gaps, you're showing the kind of control that actually creates influence. And it doesn't just make her relatable, it makes her credible. People trust someone who looks like they're living the same pressures, just under brighter lights. So when she steps into a room later that day, for a visit, a meeting, a campaign moment, it doesn't feel like a character. It feels like someone who can master the small chaos at home and still deliver in public. And that's the real royal power now. Discipline that makes people believe you. Mid-morning, the invisible office. After the school drop-off rhythm, the day shifts into the part most people never see. This is where influence is made before the cameras ever arrive. Because the Princess of Wales doesn't just turn up to engagements. There's an entire planning layer that decides what gets highlighted, what gets protected, and what message the public takes home. And that layer is real. The royal family's media center notes that the Prince and Princess of Wales have their own communications team based at Kensington Palace. So imagine what the middle of her morning looks like in practice. Briefing packs, calls with her team, coordination with organizations she's supporting, tight planning around appearances, partners, and timing, because every visit has a ripple effect. One strong moment can shift attention toward an issue for weeks. One poorly handled moment can spark noise that blocks the message completely. This is why her routine matters. Not because it's glamorous, because it's controlled. And in royal life, control isn't about ego. It's influence in its modern form, shaping the spotlight before it even turns on. So when she steps out, the country is looking exactly where she intends. Late morning, where she builds real leverage. Once the briefing packs are done, her day moves into the work that's become her clearest signature, early childhood. Not as a cute theme, as a serious long game. The Princess of Wales has made the early years a central focus of her public work through the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood.
Is in the first 5 years of life. And that is why today I'm launching the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood.
And this is where her routine starts to look less like royal appearances and more like a leadership pipeline. Because the goal isn't just to visit a nursery and take photos. The goal is to move the whole country's mindset toward what happens from pregnancy to age 5 and why that window shapes everything that comes later. That's the logic behind Shaping Us, the campaign led by the Princess of Wales to push early childhood into everyday conversation, not just policy circles. So a lot of her real day is meetings that never trend, briefings with researchers, conversations with practitioners, Sessions where frameworks, language, and goals get tightened. Because if the idea is going to stick, it has to be simple enough to repeat and strong enough to survive the news cycle. This is what modern royal power looks like. You don't pass laws. You build a movement that makes people demand better before any law even changes. Afternoon, when soft power turns into a hard network. By the afternoon, the Princess of Wales is no longer just showing up. She's pulling people into alignment. Because one of the sharpest moves in her routine is this. She doesn't only work with charities and experts, she brings in business. In March 2023, the Princess of Wales launched a business task force for early childhood, designed to push companies to take real action around the early years. And this isn't symbolic. The task force was built with major firms working together to understand what early childhood impacts and how business can change outcomes at scale. And when a royal cause becomes a business conversation, it stops being nice. It becomes practical. Workplaces start adjusting how they treat parents, not just how they measure performance. Benefits and leave policies move from optional to expected because the pressure is now public and organized. Support for families becomes part of everyday culture, and training follows so managers actually know what to do. The stuff that affects families every day, even if they never watch royal news. In 2024, the Royal Foundation announced a task force report laying out the business case for prioritizing early childhood, along with early commitments to action. So her afternoon routine isn't only visits and handshakes, it's the behind-the-scenes push that makes big institutions move in the same direction. And once you can convene people like that, once you can turn a social issue into an everyone's problem issue, you're not just participating in the system, you're shaping what the system chooses to care about. The 2024 routine shifts. Recently, the rhythm of her life hit a hard reset. In January 2024, Kensington Palace announced the Princess of Wales had been admitted to hospital for planned abdominal surgery, and that, based on medical advice, she was unlikely to return to public duties until after Easter. A few weeks later, the story became even more serious. In March 2024, she publicly shared that tests after the surgery found cancer had been present, and she was undergoing preventative chemotherapy. And from that point on, her daily routine stopped being about a fixed diary and started being about something more deliberate: protection. Of energy, of recovery, of what gets shown to the public and what stays private. In September 2024, she said she had completed her chemotherapy treatment, but also made it clear the road back would be long and that she would carry out only a handful of public engagements later that year. Then, in January 2025, she visited the hospital where she had received treatment and shared that she was relieved to be in remission. That's what this era of her routine reveals. Royal power isn't just showing up. Sometimes it's knowing exactly when not to, and returning only when it's strong, intentional, and worth the spotlight. It shows that the strongest influence can be quiet. You don't chase attention, you set the terms for it. The controlled public return. When the Princess of Wales steps back into view, it's rarely random. She picks moments that say something without forcing a speech. That's why her annual Christmas carol service became the clearest "I'm back" signal. Hosting Together at Christmas at Westminster Abbey was set to be her most significant return to royal duties since her cancer treatment, after only a handful of appearances earlier in the year. And look at what makes that routine choice powerful. This isn't a chaotic walkabout where anything can happen. This is an event she hosts, shapes, and frames. The event brought together around 1,600 guests and focused on love, empathy, and support, the exact kind of message that hits deeper after a year like hers. Even the format is strategic. It's a tradition she's built and repeated, meaning the public already knows what it stands for. So instead of returning to everything, she returns to something she owns. That's what modern royal power looks like in routine form. Not maximum visibility, maximum meaning. One carefully chosen moment, presented the right way, can do more than a dozen appearances that feel like noise. What her routine quietly teaches us, when you zoom out, the pattern is obvious. The Princess of Wales isn't building power through constant visibility. She's building it through repeatable rhythm. It starts with the most relatable foundation: family mornings shaped around school life near Windsor. Then it moves into discipline that feels normal on the surface. like squeezing exercise in with the children. Then comes the part most people miss, the invisible office, where her team helps shape what gets attention and how it lands. And then the long game work, early childhood, where she's not chasing headlines, she's building a mission people can repeat, and pulling major institutions into it through initiatives like the Business Task Force. Even her comeback follows the same logic, not loud, not constant, carefully paced, with high-signal moments like her Christmas Carol service that she can frame and control. That's the real reveal. In modern royalty, routine isn't just lifestyle, routine is leadership. So here's the question: which part of her day feels like the real source of influence? Family stability, the behind-the-scenes planning, or the long-term mission work? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into the real mechanics behind royal life. And tell me in the comments which part surprised you most. Next, watch the video on how royal aides quietly control the optics behind every major appearance.